Welcome back to Liam Doesn't Know Ball. My name is Liam. I'm an American who objectively doesn't know ball, but that does not stop me from having opinions. No, why would it? Anyways, I'm here to predict the Premier League table for the 24-25 season. And I don't think my little catchphrase of I'm an American who doesn't know ball will be more on display ever than right now. This is going to be pretty much vibes. I'm not like a James Lawrence Alcott who's getting into all those like little micro details and stuff and tactics or anything like that. Just vibes. So anyways, I hope you like my predictions and I hope I get one or two right. In 20th, I am sad to say I have Leicester City. This isn't the same Leicester side we're familiar with who won the Premier League in, what was that, 15-16? And they've lost their best player. They've just lost their manager. They've got likely a 10 points deduction coming in. This just isn't the same Leicester City. It's really sad, but I just don't see them getting enough points to get out of the relegation zone or really even out of the bottom place. So sad to see, but I just can't justify it. Jamie Vardy, I wanted to also make a point that Jamie Vardy, cult hero, absolutely, big personality. He's what, 37, 38 right now? And for a striker, that's just, I'm sure he'll get goals. Listen, he scores goals. But it's not going to be enough to keep them up. Next, I have Southampton in 19th. Although they were also very recently a Premier League team, the squad depth is not great. Jan Bednarak is, I don't know why I'm picking him out specifically, probably because I remember him from Villa. Besides the point. They've just lost Che Adams, who was below average for the Premier League, but he could at least do something. I think that really the only thing that'll keep them off the bottom of the table, in 22-23, is the fact that Leicester has a points deduction. Again, makes me sad. Southampton are kind of fun, but back down to the championship. In 18th, I have Nottingham Forest. Just because I don't like backing the three recently promoted teams to go back down, even though statistically I know that's probably the wise bet this season. I can't bring myself to do it. And I picked Forest because while they do have talent, it never seems to gel. They've had two managers now and they've struggled in their 2 seasons back in the Premier League. I wonder if maybe third time's the charm and they go back down to the championship. 17th, I don't think will be any surprise. I have Ipswich Town, so don't worry. I'm not saying they'll pull I don't know who did very well, like a Brentford in their first season back in the Premier League. No, of course not. But they've at least got some momentum. Kieran McKenna is clearly a good coach. There's a lot of really good energy and vibes around Ipswich. They might pick up some wins against Forest and Southampton and Leicester. Maybe pick up some draws against some other kind of mid-table relegation-threatened teams. I don't think they're going to do anything impressive. I think they'll probably just scrape by, but yeah, Ipswich to stay up. Why not? 16th, I have Bournemouth, and before I hear anything about how can you do that, blah, 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 they did so well after they got areola ball kind of going. Do you really rank Solanke that much? No. I mean, we'll get to Solanke later with Tottenham, but I just think it's going to be a very competitive league, and yes, losing a 19-goal season striker, it's not going to help. It just isn't. I don't even know what business they've done. I just think that losing Solanke this late, and I don't even know who they have to score goals. That's probably my own ignorance, but yeah, 16th will probably be comfortable because I think the bottom 3 are going down bottom 2 at least, are going down without much of a fuss, but I don't think it's exactly going to be close. 15th, I have Brentford. Ivan Toney coming back didn't launch Brentford into a late season European push. That's not to say that I don't rate him as a striker. I do. He's a poacher. But, I don't know. Brentford they just... I don't think they've done much business, or if they have, I haven't been very impressed by it because I haven't taken note of it. But keeping Ivan Toney is a good thing, and I don't think they'll be very close to Ipswich. Similar to Bournemouth, I think they'll probably stay up relatively comfortably. It's just that mid-table and the higher up teams in like Europe and all of that, it's just going to get... It's just very competitive. It's going to be very hard to pick up points. So, 15th, but not a bad 15th. In 14th, I have Everton. That may have been where they finished last season. I don't know. I probably should have looked that up. But we're Vibes FC up in here. Yeah, losing Amadou Onana is a big loss. Lewis Dobbin, I think, was doing some business there. Was starting to establish himself. He's still young. But Sean Dyche, it'll be comfortable. And I think that after the couple of seasons Everton fans have had, they'll take that just nice, boring, no points deductions, hopefully, and just a mid-table finish. And, hey, maybe next season, try to look to push up the table. But for now, a comfortable 14th. Hi, hello, Editing Liam here. I lost the audio for my thoughts on Wolves, and who are in 13th. You probably would have been able to figure it out by process of elimination. But my thoughts for putting Wolves in 13th was basically, they lost Pedro Neto. I know that he's pretty injury-prone and all of that, but losing him isn't going to help, like, for the whole season. Like, just losing him for a few weeks is hard enough. Add in a whole season, there still is enough quality, and they have enough Premier League experience that I think they'll be able to remain at least competitive, but no higher than mid-table. In 12th, I have Fulham for some reason. I really can't believe I put Fulham this high, but sticking by the vibes. I think this was obviously because Paulinho leaving is a huge, huge loss. He's class. I mean, there's a reason he went to a huge club like Bayern Munich, but he's gone. So, well, who's going to lead the Premier League in yellow cards? That's my question. I think I put them there because I think they finished the season relatively well. They had that young striker. God, I'm blanking on the name. This is why I should have been prepared. And he was on fire at the end of the season. Emile Smith-Rowe seems to have... he's not a superstar signing, obviously, but he seems to have integrated already very well. So, yeah, 12th, right? Why not? I think that the mid-table is going to be pretty bunched up, so I could see them getting 12th, and yeah, good for Fulham. In 11th, I have a team that buys a new squad every summer, and it still doesn't work. It is Chelsea, because I don't know what's going on at that club. I think that how they've been forcing Conor Gallagher out, although that might be out, but still, the fact that they want to force him out is a disgrace for Dewsbury Hall, who, he's fine, but I don't think he's, like, better than Gallagher. I mean, I don't want to get too far into that because that's probably a separate video on its own that other people have already made and are expressing it a lot better than I would. So, they extended Cole Palmer's contract, gave him a raise. Okay, he performed very well. I think the extension's a little long, 9 years, but this is what Chelsea does now. Apparently, they're also extending Nicholas Jackson's contract, and I don't think they should do that. I'm also just like, what are they going to do with this bloated squad? They're not going to have any chemistry. Why do you need that many players? Like, just get some quality ones, truly. I frankly think a lot of these players are, and good on them, looking at Bowley being like, I've got a guaranteed paycheck for like 8 years, and I don't have to do anything. I mean, I should show up and score goals or keep goals from going in, but you don't have to. You signed a contract, so yeah, Chelsea's a mess. Bottom half finish. In 10th place, I have a team that finished in really good form. Crystal Palace. Jean-Philippe Mateta, when he started tucking in his shirt, he was very good. The reason, and I think some people might have them higher because the season prior usually gives clues. The end of the season prior usually gives clues for the next, but I think they'll have a very good season. 10th would be a very good finish for Palace. And I think breaking their 40-point sort of expectation is what I'm going to say. I don't want to say a curse, but I think they'll get over I think they'll get at least 50 points. And losing Elise, that's obviously huge. Now, it seems like they're keeping Eze, very good. Mateta was scoring goals still in the summer. That's good. But how much of that was down to a new manager bounce and maybe a bit of a purple patch? I don't know. I think there's still a lot of quality in that squad, but just with how much quality is above them and teams that have already had these really specific projects started and are in motion, I don't see them getting higher than 10th, maybe 9th. 8th would probably be a stretch for me, but I still think that's a pretty darn good season for Palace. Next, I have the Seagulls of Brighton. Yeah, I think this is where Brighton finished last year, or 11th. God, I need to do research before these. Yeah, Brighton are in a weird, sort of transitional period. I don't feel like they have any superstars in the no, players who you're like, oh, that guy's so good, he shouldn't be at Brighton, he should be at a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a United. I know those two clubs have not had great seasons, but the bigger stature clubs, I just don't feel there's anyone on that squad right now. Their manager is extremely young. I think he's younger than me, or maybe he's a little irrelevant. So it's just, I think that Brighton are a very well run club, so I think they'll be able to sort of steady themselves to 9th, but I think that they're in a very much a transition period. So, yeah, top half finish for Brighton, not bad. Next, in 8th, I have, and I should say, 8th through 3rd, I could see any of these teams finishing in any of those places. So, this should probably be taken with a grain of salt, but this is the final position I'm going with. 8th, I have Aston Villa. Bit of a fan myself, if you can't tell. There we go. And I just think that, yes, Champions League is going to take a lot out of them, but I do really like what they did in the transfer window. Losing Douglas Luiz, I was devastated. I love Douglas Luiz, but that's the business side of the game. I do like the signings that were made. Maatson, he already has Champions League experience. Amadou Onana, he's a big physical presence in the midfield, something Villa's lacked in previous seasons. Who else was a big name signing? Samuel Illing Jr. and Enzo Baranachea. I was pleased with what I saw from them in preseason. And it's just going to be getting them into the Emery system. It can take some time to adjust to, but they've had all summer. That's the other thing. I like that Villa did their business early because Emery is very demanding, as he says himself. So getting them into learning what their role is sooner and working with their teammates, fantastic. I think 8th place, if it's a Europa Conference League spot and they get past the group stage of the Champions League, I don't know. I'd take that. I really would. Hi, hello. Editing Liam again. I lost the audio for 7th place, Manchester United. My thoughts there are lots of injuries. I also think that with the new ownership, it's kind of like starting a new project over again. So I think that it'll be a decent season, But again, just a lot of, they're still in like a weird spot. I don't think the ownership is convinced of Ten Hag. I know that Ten Hag and Sancho made up and everything, but Manchester United, they're just a weird club right now. I don't know how else to put it. So I'll back them to probably get Europe. I think 7th will be a European position, but I don't think they're ready to start challenging for titles right now. In 6th, I have West Ham. I don't know if I'm just showing a claret and blue bias generally, but yeah, I'm actually shocked I put this, but I'm standing by it. I like the signings they made. I think that bringing Lopetegui in is good. I think that things are going to get off to a rocky start because just because they did their business so late in the window. It was quality business, but it was late, so it's going to take some time for everyone to gel and get on the same page. Okay, fine, but I do think they have a lot of quality in the side. Jared Bowen's a very good player. They still have Mikel Antonio, he'll get you some goals. Yeah, and they still have Paqueta. I don't see why West Ham can't get their way back into the Europa League. They don't have any Europe to worry about, so man, focus up all your attention on the league, maybe a domestic cup, but yeah, big on the Hammers this year. In 5th, I have Liverpool. Similar to what I said about Brighton, in a bit of a transition. They just lost their longtime, very, very good manager, Klopp. They haven't really done much business. The quality of the squad already there is pretty solid, but aging a bit. So I think that if they can avoid the same injury crisis that they had last season, then I think that the quality alone of Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah, maybe Darwin and Gakpo will be a little bit more consistent in front of goal, maybe a little less wasteful. Luis Diaz, it seems he's staying, so quality left winger. Alexis McAllister, quality midfielder. I think they'll get Europa League. It's going to be a bit of a transition season, so not bad, but I could see Liverpool fans being disappointed. In 4th, I for some reason have Tottenham. I don't know why I do. I think that of all the teams that have like projects going on, well, Tottenham they sort of have a project going on, but they're just like one of the big 6. So like getting 4th for the first time in 3 seasons is kind of the bare minimum. They really burned out at the end of the season. I'm not sure if it's just Angeball is just that demanding on the players, or they just lost the faith, or people just really figured out their single plan. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that with a recognized number 9, because Son, fantastic player, not disputing that. He's not a number 9. Getting Solanke in there, I think will help them score enough goals at least, add some freshness. I know people are really excited about Archie Gray. I, again, don't know ball, so I'm sure he's going to be good, but how good will he be? I don't know. Yeah, I just think they'll have enough to get 4th. In 3rd, by process of elimination, I'm sure you figured I have Man City. Just kidding. I have Newcastle because I just think that they've got a lot going on right now. They've got a very good front line. Eddie Howe's a really good manager. They don't have Europe at all to worry about this season. They're getting Sandro Tonali back. That can't be understated enough. He's like a new signing. Yeah, I just think they've got a lot of positives to them, and they've qualified for the Champions League, like, kind of out of nowhere. So now add the fact that they've been there before. They know how to get there. I think they're going to do very well. That's all I really have to say. In 2nd, I have a dynasty hopefully coming to an end. And this is assuming that, and this is without point deductions, obviously. Man City, if for nothing else other than I just want to change, uh, I yes, they will be incredibly hard to beat. They are an unstoppable train. I mean, they just they put teams to the sword. They have an elite mentality. This is why they win. This is why Arsenal hasn't been able to get it over the line the last couple of seasons. But I don't know. They've got a bit of an aging squad. Walker is in his early to mid 30s. Same with De Bruyne. Grealish has not been worth the price tag, in my opinion. I know that he was crucial in the treble run, but that was like 6 months out of going on 4 years. Anyways, I think they're also in a bit of a transition period. I think Pep's going to leave at the end of the season. He's looked exhausted at certain points last season, and once the fatigue starts, it's not like it just goes away. I just think they won't be able to get it over the line this season, and yeah. In first place, I have Arsenal. Despite Arsenal fans making it very difficult to root for them, yeah, I just think that when I was thinking about who I was going to pick for first and second, I was like, okay, from 2 seasons ago, you've got Odegaard and Saka and other people who I'm blanking on, who remember what it was like to bottle the title and the hurt, and that I think was probably fire for last season. Well, now Declan Rice and David Raya have experienced that, and I think that that's just going to add more fire to them. They've made David Raya's transfer permanent, or loan permanent to a transfer, whatever. They've done the Champions League with league form as well. I think they get it over the line this time, and if they don't, check on your Arsenal fan friends. They aren't going to be doing very well. So those are my predictions. Vibes FC up in here, but I mean, it's all for fun anyway, and you know there are going to be surprises, both positive and disappointments, so it doesn't really matter. Let me know your predictions if you have any in the comments, or tell me I'm an idiot. Whatever. Have a great season, unless you're Birmingham City.